Hello everybody, welcome to another review. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new album by Pigs. Deaf Hilarious. Yes, I had to do numerous takes to make sure I said this right, and you could say Pigs times 7, but the band name is Pigs, so you're not going to just say Pigs times 7, that's just kind of a sin. So I've talked about this band 2023 when Land of Sleeper came out, and I wasn't really a fan of it, to be honest. I think the problem I have with this band is that they can definitely do some good doom metal. They got some great guitars, they got some fun energy to it, but I find a lot of this stuff to kind of be same old, just kind of standard stuff. There is a few distinctions on Land of Sleeper, like Mr. Medicine, that made that one stand out more, but for the most part I wasn't really feeling it. This record I think is a little stronger, but not by much. I think it's nice to see that we have EIP as a feature, and last time I've talked, or at least talked about an album that he's featured on, was Crosses, which is very weird to kind of go from a kind of a normal electronic sort of side project from Chino Marino, lead singer of Deftones, to then kind of go for this more stoner rock, doom rock sort of direction. It's interesting, but yeah, Glib Tongue is the song. That was one of the singles, and it features him. I'm very surprised by this, to be honest. It just kind of felt like a really weird feature, and I think for the song, it works, but it just feels like a really weird inclusion. It wouldn't have made much difference if you just had the band just singing it, or just cut that part out, to be honest. I think the highlights of this record is that I find it more consistent. So even though I'm not the biggest fan of much of the material, I do think it's got more consistency I enjoy than Land of Sleeper. However, I think Land of Sleeper's highlights were the stronger stuff. I think Land of Sleeper probably has the stronger, better songs, but this record definitely feels like it has some pretty decent consistency that makes me want to go back into it more. Deaf Hilarious, the album art is insane, and I think generally it kind of speaks for the aesthetic this record's going for, and I quite like it, but I'm not the biggest fan of what we have here. I think the last few songs are kind of some of the better stuff. Carousel's interesting, and I love the guitars on this one, and Coyote Call as well, pretty good stuff. But Blockage definitely was the one that pulled me in. I think that's a pretty strong opener, and Detroit, this one was fun as well. I think it generally just nails down to how much you like the genre, and frankly I think they do put a little print of their sound into the genre nicely, but I'm not going to say that I think it is anything that will blow me away, and I don't think this is a band to kind of do it. The direction of stoner rock has always had some interesting concepts. I've talked about one or two this year, and there has been some great stuff in the genre, as I am quite a big fan of Green Lung's last record, which I talked about, I think 2023 that was now, which I like. That definitely is one of the examples of taking some great ideas from the genre and just putting your own spin on it, and I think the band does this fine, but it just kind of comes off as the same thing, and there isn't really much variety you get on the releases, which was my biggest problem with Land of Sleeper, and the fact that I thought some of the songs just sounded pretty weak, and I kind of think a lot of that drags on to here. Not a terrible record, but certainly not one that I'm a big fan of, and I kind of think that's what I have to say. There's not really anything else that really stood out to me. It's just kind of a interesting another take on Pigs discography. But yeah, that's what I have to say. I'm gonna feel like I'm gonna give this one a 2.5 out of 5. It's a bit better than Land of Sleeper, but I'm still not quite feeling it. So I hope you enjoy. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video.